Hello. This is Vital Space. My name is Edward Morgan, and I'm here with Dr. Raquelina Luna. Hello.
Hi, hello.
We're going to talk about stress today, which is a great subject, and a subject that you are very familiar with. There's a wonderful chapter on stress in your book, The Path to Your Real Health,
Yes.
and also your first book, Los Colores del Amor, or The Colors of Love,
Yes.
was about stress in children, working with stress in children. So obviously it's a subject you care about. It's a subject you've worked on for a long time. Let's begin with the definition. Mm-hmm. What is a definition, a working definition that you have for stress?
Yeah, it's very difficult to have a definition that can connect with everything that involved, because it's could be very vague in some points, and also many people use it in different ways. Mm-hmm. But let's start by the word stress that comes from the English, a pressure that you use to deform any object.
Right.
When you deform something, you take the normal shape that it has, and then you are causing stress. Anything that can change your commodity, your function inside, or anything could be stress. But that is connected with the stressor, with what caused the stress. Mm-hmm. There is another definition that involves the reaction. Okay. How people, because the stress is an adaptive reaction, normal of the body, that protect us from a moment that in an emergency that we have to react and we have to answer. And it's what is the difference between that there is something that is going to hit you and hit you really, or that you can move and you have this reflex. This response is caused by the stress, and the stress is good.
So in this case, the stress isn't the thing itself that's going to hit you. It's the reaction that you have.
Exactly.
So in human beings, it's more about the response.
The response.
Okay.
And that could be different in different people. If something happened now that can scare us, maybe you are stopped, and maybe I am hide, or another person that is safe runs, or the other hit the person if it's something that is coming. You know, we have different reactions depending of our way, our patterns, depending of our reactions inside, our learnings, and our fears and our emotions.
So there's a psychological component, obviously. Yeah. And then there's a physical component as well?
Exactly. And we have tools, and there are people that have different tools, and depending on that, we can have different answers.
Okay.
And there, of course, there is a part that combines our mind and our emotions, but also there is a stress that is completely physical.
Okay. And what is the nature of the physical response of stress? Mm-hmm. Okay, if I'm, there's this, but what else is going on?
The most important thing is to understand that the stress is not only mental. It's not only about, it's something that is outside of you. It's something that happens inside of you, because our bunch of biological mechanisms that start by your brain that trigger hormones in your body, for example, cortisol, that adrenaline, noradrenaline, that are included and it's part of the physiological response of your body.
So the brain says, "Look out!" and then all kind of hormones are released.
Exactly. And these hormones could be connected with inflammation, could be connected changing your metabolism, that at the same time brings sleeping disorders, or bring headaches, or bring other illness, or, it's not that your mind invent the change, because many people say, how can I have a problem with my stomach for stress, or how can I have a lung problem caused by stress? Yes, depending of the predispositions that you have, like when the stress comes, mental, emotional, or anyone, trigger in your body changes in your biology, your
Right.
chemistry change.
Right.
And this chemistry could be different depending of you, but in general, there are many hormones that we know, neurotransmitters, that always are present in the stress situation.
Okay.
And when they are in high level on
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
then they cause damages.
Okay, so this is my question, the long time part about, are there different kinds of stress? In other words, there's when I step out in the street and I nearly get hit by a car, and whoa, that shocks me, but I'm fine. 2 seconds later, I'm still going to go walk to the park. And then there's the stress of having a terrible boss who's always yelling at me or da-da-da. So every day I'm feeling the stress of going to work. Surely these are different stresses. I mean, there's different levels, I guess, or durations of stress.
Exactly. And this is the difference between the acute stress, what you are
Acute,
saying,
yeah.
that is perfectly good.
Right.
And we need it. We
Right.
need stress. We need to have good answers when you are working and you have to solve a situation, to give to a person or stop something,
Right.
and you give a good answer. If you are a doctor and suddenly you are in an emergency room and you jump and you do what you need to do, you need that stress to
Right.
function, and it's good.
Right.
When that man stays in the time and every day you have the same level of acute stress, but every day, that
Right.
becomes in chronic. And this chronic one is that the one who is connected with illnesses.
Okay.
It's the level of changes that you do every day,
Right.
and you maintain, and depending of the person, depending of also your biology, are people that are stronger than others, that delay more to develop something or to have
Right.
the damage, but sooner or later will have something inside.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that stress that is connected with illness that we call like we can call a disease also,
Right.
as many others, is the chronic stress.
So chronic stress could cause, well, we all know an ulcer from worrying or whatever, but so you're saying it could lead to even more serious
Exactly.
cancer, to heart attack,
Everything.
to high blood pressure. Everybody talks about that.
And
Right.
now that we have been talking about inflammation, that many people is talking about that, it's directly connected with inflammation in the body. And depending of diabetes, for example, is caused also by inflammation.
Is there a relationship between stress and the immune system then?
Exactly, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the difference then between like trauma and stress? Like there's long-term stress, like the guy with the terrible boss, okay? But what about, somebody who goes away to war, or somebody who
Yeah.
witnesses some terrible event or survives
It's
a
called,
bomb
yeah.
or attack? Like we're beyond just a sustained stress. We're into a terrible and serious trauma.
Post-traumatic stress is what you are telling, right?
PTSD
Yeah.
is post-traumatic stress disorder.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And many people that has been under this situation that
Right.
are really dramatic and strong, they stay long time with these levels of stress, cortisol very
Traumatic
high.
stress.
Because it's very hard, because your mind, sometimes your body, your brain doesn't make any difference between something that is really happening and also something that just passing but you repeat in your mind, and you triggers all of that every time, and that even
So you
that
know it's over and you're safe, and yet you hear the fireworks and your body reacts, or your your emotions react as if you're still back in the war or whatever.
Because there is in the cellular level you have a memory too, and then every time you feel that you could be in danger or something that could happen similar, that can trigger
Right.
again the memory, and that you already had it,
Right.
but then trigger again and again, and you develop the same reaction in your body. And
Right.
if you don't have a treatment with that,
Right.
sometimes people can get rid of that and can deal with that per themselves. Really it's really hard, but they could do it. And there are many tools, but there are many others that not, maybe because they have other memories before, and that just came
Right.
and add to the other. It's
Right.
very complex. We can enter everybody in the same and see in the same way, but what you say is very important, because yes, people just repeat it, and the body doesn't distinguish, and your unconscious doesn't know what is
Right.
real, what is not real, and they react the same.
Right.
Then that caused this pattern.
Okay, so to come back to the notion of sort of everyday life, so we all have a lot of different kinds of stress that we're dealing with.
Everybody.
There's physical stress, depending on where we live or how we live, of toxins or pollutions that stress us, right?
Exactly.
And then the emotional kind of sphere and so on we've been talking about. And generally people talk about stress as being a lot more for people in
an office, for example.
In developed societies, in urban societies, that living in cities or in the digital age or whatever, that we're all more stressed.
Yeah, in general, in our modern society, we can find more stress for the way of living.
Right.
It doesn't mean that in the past they don't have it, and only the executive that goes to the office every day is the only one who have stress. Is connect with that, and also there is a stress very well study about people who work in offices and all of that. But also this woman who wake up at 5 a.m. to cook for the kids because they go to school, they have to clean it, they have to send it, maybe have one that is sick, whatever. And it's all day doing, never stop. And it's 11 and it's still doing. It's under stress, of course. Then it's not only belongs to the person who works, it's for everybody, but it's real that in our society, in the way of competitivity, the way that we have to be somebody in the future, we need to study and we need to do a master's, and another I need to do the PhD, blah, 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 all the pressure with the kids, with parents that are trying to make a living, or maybe they don't have enough money.
Right, the longer work hours is certainly a part of modern life.
Exactly.
And the bombardment of information, and the way people are always connected to the internet, all those things have been talked about, and that we're off the rhythm of the sun, that we're no longer in nature's rhythms.
Exactly. Then imagine this kid that came to the life and the mother was working all the time and was under fear and all of that. This kid is receiving all the fear of the mother. And then in the normal living, okay, don't do that, have to be close in a place. Now it's different to go out and play and be free and all of that.
Yeah. When we were kids, we played outside and whatever, and now kids watch television and video games.
Kids have another way of distraction, but also have more possibilities to be trapped in all those stuff. That's why kids, and that's why I was a little bit inconscious when I decided, but then I learned why. I decided to make my first book about kids because I used, and at times I also used to go to schools and talk with parents about how the stress affects the kids and the learning and everything and the importance, because usually we associate the stress only for the adults.
Right.
But, our society have a big pandemic now. It's not only COVID, it's also stress. And
so what do we do? I mean, I certainly have a sense of how stressed we all are, how much stress is a kind of pandemic is ubiquitous everywhere. So what do we do? What are some things that you can recommend, by way of a short summary of how do we combat our stress?
First things is come back to my 5 steps.
Okay.
If I come back to my 5 steps, is to realize, to learn about yourself, to check in yourself what is going on.
Right.
Check your life.
That's review in your book. That's the stage of review.
Stage of review.
Okay.
If you go and you follow all of that, I can start. I'm not going to do the 5 steps for stress, but at least let's start reviewing our life, checking what is going on, being aware, and then depending of the worst stress that we have, let's start looking for help. If we need an emotion,
now we're on to remove. Get those things out of your life.
Exactly. It's not that easy, but let's start.
If you can.
Change. Exactly. Let's talk a little bit about diet. I don't want to enter deep, but there is, when we are under stress, the tendencies is to go and eat more and have disorders. The disorders, eating disorders are connected with stress. But the good thing is that the good eating also can help in the other direction. It's both direction. If you change your pattern of eating, you also help your stress. And then if you start doing all of that changes in your life and reducing the impact that what you do, your style of life, resting more, sleeping better, all of that. And then you add some other tools, like, for example, mindfulness. Mindfulness is just being present. Is now we are here together. How can I be in myself as well as talking with you? How can I be aware if this position is good, or if I need to move a little bit because my back have some discomfort, or how is my breathing, how I feel. And if we come back every time more, when we are working all the time, we are outside.
Right.
Then we are not present with us. And one of the big keys for me to deal with my stress, because our mind goes to the future. Oh, what is going to happen? What is going to say this person? I'm going to die, whatever. When I had my cancer, one thing that helped me was being in present. I'm alive. I'm here now. I'm here with me. That helped me to manage my own stress and not think about the past. What I didn't do, or what happened before? No, I'm in the present. Everything here is fine. Here is not happening anything bad. We are just talking. Then why should I be under stress? Then is to learn how to be with you, how to be present. That is also helped by breathing. Learn to breathe, to expand. If you take a deep breath, and I invite everybody who could be listening, just be aware of your breathing now and take a deep breath. Just that helped to start changing. Even the language, our rhythm talking now changed. Just breathing. Learn to breathe. Learn to take the air inside of your body. There are many, many techniques. You can look online. You can look everywhere. I also have some exercises. Learn the meditation. Meditation is just 10 minutes every day in the morning, 10 minutes every day in the evening, or in the middle of the day. Cut your day, and before start another work, just 5 minutes. Just being there, relax. You don't need to do much. If you like to pray, pray. But do something for you. Be in silence. Connect with silence. We are in noise. Our minds are noisy all the time. And we are all the time, we need a lot of stimulus to feel that we are, no, relax. Be in silence. Practice silence. And many other ways. For me, the most important thing is be aware. And don't say that you don't have stress, because this is lying. Many people say because they don't feel it. And we get used to be all the time busy.
Right.
We get used to be all the time doing. And sometimes say, no, but this is not stressing because I'm used to that.
Yeah.
Being used doesn't mean that you don't have it. It's just learn about yourself and find which is the best tool. Take vacations, of course, but the vacation doesn't solve the stress. It's just a help. You know, learn what works for you. Just that.
Fabulous. What a great introduction to what stress is and how we can begin to change our degree of stress in our lives. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you.